hard game recently released the DLC for the hard game, and yeah, I gotta say it's hard. I wasn't originally going to be doing a Shadow of the Erdtree video, and then I succumbed to propaganda and I met Egon, and instantly was like, this guy would stand 10 toes down on business if only he had his fucking leg. Shadow of the Erdtree starts off with us trying to find Mikola, and in order to do that, we gotta pay our respects to his brothers. Specifically, we gotta hit Horseboy and the fucking guy who plays with the HIV. We're not going to be talking too much about our fucking resident AIDS spreader, because he almost sent me into conniptions, and I contemplated spiking my controller into the ground about 18 times. I died about 3 hours in a row because I lost all concept of a frontal lobe, and pattern recognition had gone out the window. Muscle memory's fantastic, until I memorized the wrong shit. Before anybody talks shit about my struggle, I just want to throw out that less than 40% of people have killed this guy on Steam. After we square away the base game stuff, we're greeted by Needle Dick Letta. She's assembling a team of the finest mouth breathers the Land Betweens has ever seen. We got people like Omen Jr., the soy boy who drinks poison, Rock Lee, and a couple others. Basically, they're going to point us in the right direction, but once we reach Miami, Florida, we're just going to be set to our own devices. It's a Soulsborne game. Basically, every indie game since 2009 has put some sort of homage to the style in their stuff. If we need a refresher, though, we got hard enemies. They hit hard, we don't hit hard. That's until we find these Shadow Tree fragments. Yeah, you're supposed to pronounce it Shadow, not Scadoo, not nothing. I had to Google that shit. About these fragments, some raging autist on Reddit made a map that trivializes these things because out of the 20 levels available, you can get enough fragments to get level 18 without even seeing a boss. There's some big nerd numbers that you can pull up on the wiki, but the basics of it is you get ashes for summons, you get fragments for you. How many ashes and fragments you get depends on how much damage you can take and how much damage that you give out. Now that we're looking pretty swole through our mentally impaired hit sesh, we gotta get down to the build. There's lots of cool new weapons, such as Guts but a katana version, and the real freaks out there, you got beast claws and you can even use your feet. There's lots of other stuff, but I think you guys want to find it yourself, and I'm too lazy to specifically talk about them. Unlike the main game, where half the end game is immune to bleed, most bosses here, it's a perfectly viable strategy. This led me to go on the dumbest build possibly conceived by a creature with room temperature IQ. We're wearing Lionel's armor with Vara's mask, combined with a single Reduvia. We're not doing two because I don't have any friends that will drop me a fucking Reduvia. We're L2 Lieutenant. Now, if you're too stupid to use cheat engines such as myself, just go do Vara's questline. The birds still work, and after a couple hours, we managed to get from level 25 to level 150. You want to go in here at base 150 because these guys don't fuck around. There ain't no smart enemy placements. You're gonna get jumped. You're gonna get flashbacks to Scholar of the First Sin. And you're gonna love it because the stuff is just too cool, so we're gonna overlook how much ass that you're getting beat. Land of Shadows, it's not very expansive, but it's very compact. We got two routes we can take, and the first of us involves going to the crosses and talking to our new NPC buddies. They're going to send us to go meet some of our other friends, and they're going to put us at the base of a sealed-off town. Now, we go up the stairs, open the door, and go through the town. If we do this, we'll be granted an audience with the Avatar before he beats your ass into the grass with every element known to mankind. But no, you wouldn't think, wow, this is a great route. Incorrect. After you beat the Avatar, you're going to see that this is a dead end. And the correct way is to find the boys, see the town, then you're going to fuck off over the bridge to the army encampment and clear out the castle. After that, you're going to go and fight Dami Mommy's twin sister, Rolana. She'll kill you from across the room and then flex by continuing that 100-hit combo. After getting your ass beat, you'll be like, damn, I got to figure something out. And then you're going to remember, there's a whole ass area to explore. At this point, you're going to go back to the First Grace. You're going to head to the south, and you're going to find a church, which will give you 2 Shadow Tree fragments. And by the time that you're exploring this area and getting all the crosses, you should be about Shadow Tree level 4 to 7-ish, and that will make you able to stand with the big boys. After Rolana and Furry Aang are dealt with, you get to go to the Shadow Altus. Here is where you can see Mesmer's spooky castle, and you'll know that you gotta fight some homies to get there. At this point, the whole Land of Shadows really opens up, and you can go north, south, east, or west. Wouldn't be a FromSoft game without some memorable bosses and NPCs. Clear fan favorite at this point is going to be Egon that we mentioned earlier because he's the best hype man. First up on the bosses is going to be Bale the Dread. I don't like dragon fights in FromSoft games. I think they're some of the worst fights ever imaginable. Put me up against an ancient dragon, you got me beating my head against a wall. I want them to be like the Monster Hunter dragon fights, but Bale did not give me conniptions as fucking hard as I thought it was going to. First attempt, I got him well into phase 2. And the second attempt, I summoned Egon, and the lad and I took him out with style and grace. And the very opposite of style and grace, you got Commander Gaius. I did not cheese him with Rotten Breath like 85% of the community would tell you. But I probably should have. Honestly, he had me real tweaking out here, fiending, clawing at my eyes. He's got jank hitboxes, he's got a cool charge, and apparently they moved him back from his start. Apparently he used to be worse. I'll be real, I multiplayer summoned a homie to help me out because Hog Rider is got to be the worst fight in probably all of Elden Ring. Mesmer the Impaler remind me a lot of Melania, and they have quick movements and follow-ups, but he feels a little easier. Maybe it's because I've fought Melania in the past, but he's also mandatory to the storyline like halfway through. He has a great cutscene, and the snake motif is arguably done better than his brother Rykard. Overall, it's a great fight, and I'm looking forward to doing more runs when I don't have to hug him with the 3-inch Punisher. The Shadow Tree avatar was not fun, mainly because he doesn't bleed. He nuked me in his third phase, and we both had like 5 HP, but luckily in his third phase, when he does the big solar nuke, he has to wait 15 seconds before doing anything else, so that's a pretty free win. And basically a side note here is any boss that can't bleed will fuck my shit up instantly. I have 80 arcane, so I'm really debating and really clinching onto this whole bleed stat. To be fair, I should have switched it up. I should have just went back to base game and respect my character, but no, we're gonna square peg, circle hole until I manage to brute force my way through. It's a common theme in my Soulsborne playthroughs, because I'm no better than a fucking ape. Rolana will run your shit for days, especially if she's your first boss. Even in your second boss, she's kind of a bastard. She loves Mesmer. She loves defending his ass. That means from predators like you. She's got this 16-hit combo that one would typically see from a nasty Smash player over at EVO while he's doing his Fox fucking routine. She also has this funny thing where if you summon your friends, invaders can enter the room, and instead of it being a 2v1, it's a 2v2. Romina is a psychotically designed, nasty insectophobia-inducing piece of garbage. She has a really cool primary color motif with the hot pink. We can only assume the devs were a little bit inspired by the Barbie movie. The boss fight's actually pretty cool. I'm just not a fan of huge bugs. Her moveset's pretty generous, so that's lucky too, and she bleeds, which is nice for the filthy Reduvia users. The only bad thing about her is she has this explosion that can take up about 1/4 of the arena. The Dancing Lion is just Aang hidden in his fursuit. He starts off with wind before moving into lightning and then frost. Then eventually he just uses everything as he feels like it. He does bleed, so for my case I got close to him and I chunked the shit out of him before the lightning particles could chunk the shit out of my GPU. If anyone could break the PC, it'll be him. I won't lie, I like the concept of Radahn. His actual boss fight, I think in phase 1 is pretty fair. Phase 2 looked like I needed a couple hours to hose him down, which is fine, but he's also very fast. This is where I saw an extreme amount of homies whipping out the Great Shields and the Mesmer Spear and just going like that at him. He's probably the hardest boss that FromSoft has released to date, and he's worth fighting whether you're alone, with a real other person, or a simulated friend. Matir was a fight that I don't think I really learned a whole lot. It was the last Remembrance boss I did, but they're weak to slash and they're weak to bleed. So the Reduvia spam really just let me autopilot my zone. I had to do nothing but spam L2. It was a button mashing dream. A couple interesting things that she had was she could shuffle around, but the biggest surprise that there was no second phase. Just felt like there could have been more, and then suddenly it was just done with. Midra, I think, overall is a fair boss, except for one thing. I don't like killing the humanoid form to begin the boss properly. It doesn't add anything, but it does give me fucking flashbacks to the Riku fight in Hollow Bastion when I was a child playing Kingdom Hearts 1. A second thing of note is that his laser beam attack that he can sweep can do 1900 damage, and I only know this because I specifically have 1900 HP, and I was instantly erased for the cardinal sin of needing to blink. He's got well choreographed attacks, but that fucking death beam is insane. It's no wonder he's a goddamn madness boss. The putrescent knight, he's a bastard. That's it. He's a bastard. He sucks. It's a gimmick fight. When you kill the Beastman, you should be able to have context clues. If there is a guy you got to kill before the boss that drops a faith spell, it's probably going to be a gimmick fight. But you need to kill him for St. Trina's questline. Keep in mind, I have 10 faith. I have nowhere near the requirements to use this spell. He's got Ghost Flame, and he's got a horse, but he still feels more fair than Commander Gayass. If you aren't a faith build, this fight is significantly more difficult. He is deceptively fast, and Tiolier isn't much help either, so hopefully you can find a buddy. If you're a faith build and you can respec, just do that. It'll make the fight 10 times easier. Not to mention there's other field bosses, but I figured that we should really only go over the Remembrance ones, as those are the main bosses that the homies are going to know about. Now, there are a bunch of NPCs, there's a bunch of quest lines, and because of this, there's 2 major events that people should be worried about. The first event can happen shortly after reaching the Shadow Altus, and that's Mikola breaking his runes. This is going to cause some NPCs to move around, but it shouldn't lock you out of any major quest lines that I know of personally. The second major event is burning the Sealing Tree, and I recommend that you do most of your stuff beforehand, as I haven't found a way to teleport out of the tower that it teleports you to. You're going to wonder, how do I get better at this game that everything's always so much more difficult in? There's only really one way to get better, and you're going to put your big boy pants up, and you're going to go out there and fight, just like Kai said. Either that, or you're going to realize that the opinion of people on the internet doesn't really matter that much. And you can use everything at your disposal, from friends and family to NPC summons. A lot of people in my general audience are getting older. We've got jobs, we've got families, and we don't have time to throw hours at a boss every day, and I get that. If you like throwing hours at a boss, that's also cool. I get that as well. But what I'm saying is just play the game however you want, unless it's some like massively obscure wienery. Then you're just a fucking ape. There isn't much to say about the multiplayer aspect of this game. Most people are going to tell you, just download Seamless Co-op if you're on PC. I'm going to be one of these people that says, you probably shouldn't download it yet. I have it installed, and the developer really added some great quality of life updates, such as letting us pick our own bonfires instead of voting on them, and allowing invasions as well. The only downside is it's not ready for public release, and the developer even said it's more like an open beta test for the willing. There's a glitch in New Game Plus that my brother experienced where Melina had to take him to the round table hold, and it instantly bricked his save. And me being the dumbass who does not listen, also saw the option and said, I wonder what happens if I click it, and it bricked my save. However, if you're doing multiplayer in the base game, everything stays the same as base Elden Ring. Final score. The game has aged like fine wine. 2 years later, and people are still getting upset that the fucking hard game is hard. FromSoft has really outdone themselves with this expansion, and the approach to the Shadow Tree fragments and Revered Ashes keeps people from absolutely blitzing through the fucking DLC. The only problem I have with this DLC is I want more. I realized that after playing through all the Remembrance bosses, I was like, I kind of want more to do. And got me out here acting like a dog. And I'm looking forward to doing more runs in the future, though. Hopefully Liza P drops a DLC of similar scale, so the weight's broken up. 10 out of 10, somehow Moog beat the allegations. As always, more content to come. I do stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I have socials that I neglect in the description down below. Thank you to everyone who watched the video and supported me. If you're watching this at time of upload, I will be live, and you can come join the chat. Possible that you've already been in chat, as I was live a couple of times while playing the DLC. If there's anything you think I should cover, next, let me know. Until then, have a good one.